Okay, well we're going to start here at the control panel. It's hard to see this elevation, but if you can see the digital display here, right now it's on. It's in its home screen. That's where it's going to be in a normal situation. This control will go into sleep mode, where it will actually turn that display off to save power. But these little, you can kind of see them, they're LEDs.
Oh yeah.
Are on. Those will stay on. So to wake it up out of sleep mode, just hit any of the buttons here and it'll bring the display up and you can start navigating from there. Your selector switch here, you have auto, manual, and off. So normally you're going to want to stay in auto. That's going to be your automatic function for the transfer switch to work, and it's going to be started and stopped by the transfer switch in that mode. Manual mode, if you want to run it manually, just to check anything, do any maintenance on it, you can change that switch to manual, hit the manual run stop button, engine will fire up. It'll run until you hit the button again to shut it back down. Now this does have a cool down and idle, so it will idle for 120 seconds after you give it a stop signal, just to let you know in case you turn it off and it's still running. Any faults that you get on here, low fuel, rupture basin, say the engine heater goes out and you get a low coolant temperature alarm, any of those are resettable, but the switch has to be all the way in the off position. If you try to reset it with manual or auto position, it's going to clear it for a second and come right back. It's a latching code. So in order to clear any faults, you got to turn it all the way to off. So you turn out to auto, it brings on the not in auto light, which just tells you that that switch is not in auto. And then you hit the fault acknowledgement reset, and any faults will clear at that time. Once everything's cleared, right back to auto, not in auto light shuts off, everything clears.
That's assuming that you've corrected whatever the problem is?
Yes. Yeah, normally it's fuel related or let's say coolant, low coolant temperature or something like that. Battery charger could fail and gets low DC voltage, that kind of thing. Yeah, once it's corrected, you can put it back to off, clear it, put it back to auto. There are panel lights. If you're out here at night, there's no lights in the enclosure here. You turn those on, there's some LEDs underneath here, so you can kind of see what's going on the front display there, which buttons you're pushing. Turn it on and off. If you hold it down, it'll just show the LEDs, which they're already on. It'll actually bring up the ones there too. You can kind of see if all those are working. As far as faults go, anything that's not immediately related to these dedicated faults is going to come up on the screen and give you, if it's a warning or shutdown, either one of those lights will be lit up, and it will give you a fault code number, a time of the fault code, engine hours or control hours, and a brief description, low fuel, rupture basin, that kind of stuff. So, if you went into the home screen here and you want to get engine parameters, go into engine screen, first thing comes up, coolant temperature, oil pressure, it's only going to show if it's running, oil temperature, engine speed, battery voltage, your governor torque command, and then your fuel rate. It's in gallons per hour if you want to see what it runs at certain loads.
Martha just called and gave me permission to come to the meeting.
You got barometric pressure and your boost pressure. Intake manifold, fuel outlet pressure, and that's just all stuff for troubleshooting. Scroll back to the home screen. You go into the alternator screen. That's going to show you your power. If the unit was running, it'd be showing 480 volt between line to line. Scroll down one, goes line to neutral. Amps per phase, your frequency, total kW output, and then it breaks it down to kW per phase, and kVA, kVA per phase, power factor per phase. So you can get a lot of information out of that screen. Go back again. Adjustments, the only thing you can really adjust is the voltage and frequency, and then your your start delay if you want to have a start-stop delay. So going to more, that brings you over to the fault screen in history. So faults, if you, what commonly happens is if you have a fault and the display goes to sleep, first thing you do is you come out and wake it up. Well, it's going to take you to the home screen. It's going to skip over the fault because normally the fault would be listed on the screen. So then you got to go find the fault. So you go to the fault screen, and under history, it's going to show you everything from the past. Anything that's current, there will be a little triangle next to current, and you'll be able to hit that, and it'll tell you what the current fault is. So if you go into history, I'll show you what some of them look like. These are all from the factory.
Watch your back.
This is all factory testing that they do. Low cooling level, low battery voltage, emergency stop. And basically, the fault code number, you have at hour, 0.6, and then a brief description. So that's how the fault codes come out. And all the fault codes are listed in the manuals. So you can go through and figure out exactly, because the brief description sometimes gives you just a glance at what it is, and you can look it up in the owner's manual. Go back out, under history, number of starts, and there's your engine hours. So if you're keeping a logbook, that's what you're going to want to record is engine hours. That's what everybody's going to be looking for.
Use this one instead?
That's right. I've already got 10 minutes of it. You're good.
All right.
You scroll down one,
Thank you.
it'll give you control hours. Only reason you want to look at control hours is every so often certain faults will be listed in control hours instead of engine hours. So the problem with that is you don't know when it happened. So if you look at what the control hours say, it's 432 hours on control hours. The fault happened at 430. You know it happened 2 hours from where you're at now. So that's kind of how you backtrack. These units don't run very often, so they don't accumulate very many engine hours. So if you get a fault, sometimes they'll list them in control hours to give you an idea of when it happened.
Okay.
Do you need this?
Kilowatt hours, no big deal there.
Oh, we will.
Do the
Thank you.
cycle.
Yeah, in a
I
minute.
had to go that way.
You have to go?
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, John.
We'll go into more again, and it gives you a breakdown of what the model number, the rating, software version, and then you have setup. So if you have to go in and change any parameters, you have a password, it's in the book, it's 574, and you can go in and change parameters if you want, start delay, stop delay, anything like that. So if we go back to the home screen, that's about everything you can go through on the home screen. We've got a remote, or local e-stop. There's no remote e-stop on these. Usually there's one on the outside of the enclosure. This one does not have one. So this is your only e-stop. Push it in. It stays in. Alarm does not go away. Then you pull it back out. All the way to off. Clear. It's going to go through its reconnection with the ECM. You'll probably hear the lift pump come on.